Welcome to HB RV Lifestyle, the podcast. I am the host, the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as other things. Every RV manufacturer may be in deep trouble. That's right, you heard me correctly. All RV manufacturers may be in very hot water. And it's not for what you think. So what I'm going to do today is read an article and kind of give you the in between the lines what's going on and what could possibly go on. It's from tradeonlytoday.com. I'll link it in the description of this episode. So if you're listening on Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, YouTube, wherever you're listening to this podcast, you can read the article or link yourself to the article. The article is from April 16, 2024. It says, lender alleges dealer diverted millions in sales proceeds. M&T Bank claims Tommy's Boats, that's a boat dealership, which has filed a lawsuit against Malibu Boats, that's a manufacturer of boats, owes more than $115.9 million in principal and more than $2.2 million in interest. So basically, Tommy's Boats has decided not to pay their bills to their inventory loan company, which is M&T Bank. In our industry, we call it curtailments and interest payments. They decided not to do any of those. They decided not to write down the principal of the inventory that's in stock. Okay? But there's something there that I think people missed. And it is that the dealership, Tommy's Boats, has filed a lawsuit against one of the boat manufacturers. Okay? We read on. It says a legal fight between Malibu Boats and dealership Tommy's Boats is continuing, with Tommy's also facing litigation in a case filed by M&T Bank that's due back in court April 22nd. Tommy's sued Malibu on April 10th. So April 10, 2024, Tommy's Boats sues Malibu Boats, alleging that Malibu and its CEO, Jack Springer, engaged in an elaborate scheme to over-manufacture. I want you remember that word specifically. Over-manufacture and pump nearly $100 million of its highest priced, highest margin, slow-moving inventory into 15 Tommy's dealerships to artificially inflate Malibu's sales performance, artificially increase market share in the industry, and artificially inflate its own stock value during an obvious downturn in the recreational power boat industry. Now, if you want to read the rest of it, they all are going to go back and forth. Malibu issues a statement. Tommy's issues a statement. M&T Bank. That realistically does not directly affect the RV industry until that case is settled. I'm going to repeat that again. It does not, as of today, affect the RV industry. The day it will affect the RV, car, power sports industries is when the case is over. Now let's say Malibu Boats gets off scot-free. Nothing will happen. It'll be the status quo. But I want you to remember what I have been saying for over 18 months. The RV manufacturers have not been helping move aged inventory, move inventory, overstocked inventory on dealerships' lots without having a reorder. So basically, every single RV manufacturer that is doing what we call push-pull in this industry, or is basically holding hostage funds to help dealerships move inventory because they're overstocked, because they want more orders, this puts them in the crosshairs of a lawsuit similar to this. So if Malibu Boats loses the court case, or if they settle out of court, the RV manufacturers might as well put their head in the sand, because they're going to be hit with so much litigation, it's not even funny. It has nothing to do with quality. It has nothing to do with frame failure or frame flex or anything of that nature. It has to do with the fact that the RV industry on the manufacturer side is run like a prison. And the prisoners are the dealerships. You overproduced and overmanufactured by a wide margin in 2022. Then you repeated it 6 months into 2023, and you held funds hostage. I'll give you an example. In 2016, 2017, 2018, let's say you're a mom and pop dealership who sells brand X. And brand X, you usually sold 8 to 9 a quarter. And you stocked 12 to accommodate that normal turn of volume. You following me so far? Good. So 2020, 2021 roll around, and now you sold 25 a quarter of brand X, and you couldn't get enough inventory to cover that, so you just kept selling orders. Well, now the manufacturer thinks that the bar should be set at 25, not at 8 to 10, because of what? Because, well, that means profit's going to go down. That means stock value is going to go down. That means my paycheck's going to go down. This could have been settled 18 months ago if the manufacturers just said, you know what, as a group, everyone from Winnebago to Forest River to Thor to Rev Group, everybody sat down together and said, halt manufacturing for 90 days. From July, August, and September of 2022, maybe have to extend it into October. We're not going to build one coach. We're going to furlough everybody. We're going to give them a little paycheck. All the factory workers try to bridge the gap. And we'll bring everybody back in October, November, and we'll restart it slowly. By then, we should be good. And by the way, we're going to stroke a check to cover 50% of the loss up to a certain amount. So let's say the bar was set at $10,000 loss on a fifth wheel and $7,000 loss on a travel trailer. We're going to cover $5,000 and $3,500. And no, we don't want to reorder. We just want to help you move on from your inventory so we can move on from this disaster that was created by a pandemic shutdown. You built 6 years, pretty close to 6 years of inventory in 2.5, based on a normal everyday market. No, I'm sorry, not 6 years. Probably 4.5, 5 years. I'm being a little exaggerated. So in 2.5 years, you built way more than you needed to. Okay? So think about this. You're a dealership. You've been overstocked with inventory. You have the records to show it. You have the emails and text messages from the manufacturer basically saying, you got to keep the same inventory level because that's the new bar. Even though we're in a slow economy, because they want to keep their stock value up. That's pretty much where we're at. That's the accusation that's going to be made. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I've been saying this entire time that the RV manufacturers are going to get in deep trouble if they don't pull their heads out of their butt and start covering these losses. Because let me tell you, if Malibu Boats settles or loses this case, all hell is going to break loose. Because you're going to have guys that went out of business. You're going to have guys that sold their dealership. You're going to have guys that closed their doors voluntarily because they couldn't pay the curtailments and the interest. They're coming. And they'll come out of a woodwork like cockroaches. Not calling anybody a cockroach, just kind of giving a metaphor. So if you're an RV manufacturer and you read this article and you've been this way for the last almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, you better pull your head out of your butt and figure out how you're going to kiss these dealers' butts. You better get ahead of this. Because if you don't think that dealerships are paying attention daily to what's going on in courtrooms, you're insane. They know. And they'll pretend like everything's good. They'll lie to these manufacturers' face. Everything's good. Thank you so much. And then as soon as this gets settled, we got an opportunity to get our money back. We have our opportunity to recover the losses. It just happens to be that Tommy's, in desperation mode, has pretty much fired up this side of things that I thought was going to happen first in our industry, but apparently I was wrong. You know, these are the type of things that just need that. These are the type of things hopefully will generate a wake-up call. Wake up, manufacturers. A partnership may be two-way, but there's only one person taking a loss selling a unit. You might be taking losses because you're not building enough. But these guys that are on the front lines, these owners of dealerships, and guys, even Camping World, has been hemorrhaging money to sell inventory. Everybody has. And if they're telling you otherwise, it's a sales pitch, it's an investment pitch. The truth is that even the big dog Camping World, from what I'm understanding, was hemorrhaging money to sell this aged inventory. And the help was pretty close to zero. I don't consider $750 to be a big help when that doesn't even cover the prep. When you are taking $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 losses, $750 is insignificant. $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, that is significant. Half. And the reason why I keep saying half is because dealerships are half responsible for this too. And if this goes Tommy Boat's way, dealerships can pretty much look at a bailout. Because they were stupid enough to take the inventory. So it's a 50-50 problem. It's 50% the dealerships 50% the manufacturers. Both should participate in the loss equally. And I've been saying that forever. Now, I know a lot of you have reached out to me and told me about Greg Carson's video. And if you don't know who Greg Carson is, I'll put his latest YouTube video as well in the description of this episode. And a lot of you have kind of asked my opinion about things. Not all of you. A lot of you just wanted to alert me of it. But a lot of you asked me my opinion. And, after watching it now 4 times, my opinion comes to this. My reaction to it comes to this. When you look at a company's history, okay, and I'm talking about recent history, okay, all the allegations against Grand Design, all the allegations of the way they're treating customers, what made you think, Greg, that they were going to treat you any different? That would be the question. Not sarcasm, not an attack, but realistically. I have never, in my 15 years of being in this business, I have never told a customer that a trailer or fifth wheel or a motorhome never has problems. I've never told anybody they've manufactured 25,000 of these and have had 0 major problems. I have never said that in my life. Nor will I ever say that, because that already is a lie. Remember that the majority of these factory warranties are only 1 year. So maybe in 1 year, they haven't had any major problems, but you don't know what happened 3 years from now. They don't record that information. They don't record what happens 4 years from now. They have 1 year at a time data. So just imagine that for just a minute. Probably the people, if they did collect this type of data, that would have that kind of real-time data is extended warranty companies. Because they're the ones that deal with the stuff after the first year. They would probably have more data about major problems than anybody else. I don't know if they collect that data. I've actually started looking into if they collect that data. Insurance companies like Geico and State Farm, they may know because they probably have claims. Greg's a very intelligent man. I've spoken to him over the phone a couple of times. That conversation stays private between him and me. To me, how could you fall for such baloney? I mean, this is one of the 6 people that I know of that went straight back to Grand Design after they got bought out. What do all of you think? That all of a sudden, miraculously, it's going to get better? You don't even, the CEO of Grand Design RV still has not publicly acknowledged this in any kind of recall or letter out to the dealers, a letter out to the customer, come up and spoke personally in an interview saying, yes, we have a problem. A lot of it is all speculation. Why he's not coming out and saying anything is all speculative. We could say it's because Winnebago lost $13 million last quarter. We can make speculation that they're getting ready to make another major purchase. They already bought a boat company. They could be in line to make a major purchase of another RV manufacturer or boat manufacturer. And I'll leave that up to you guys what to think. Who knows? Maybe they don't have any money. I don't know. That's all speculative. We don't know. because no one's talking. The influencers, the corporate RV dealership YouTubers are all trying to sweep this stuff under the rug like it doesn't exist. And look, here's the biggest problem I'm going to have with everything, okay? And then I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk more about Greg's video. A lot of you have reached out to me saying Lippert is garbage. Lippert is garbage. Lippert is trash. Lippert is this. Lippert is that. I would say pretty close to, 85% of the frames are built by Lippert or a subsidiary. So the reality is that if this was 100% Lippert's fault, there would be catastrophic problems at the same level we're having and alleging with Grand Design across the entire industry. Mobile Suites, Lippert frames. Brinkley, Lippert frames. Redwood, Lippert frames. Riverstone, Lippert frames. These are all bigger, heavier units than most of the Momentums and the Solitudes, allegedly. And yet, we don't see the catastrophic level, the catastrophic amount of problems that are being alleged against Grand Design RV. So guys, we need to get off the Lippert is trash portal. Okay? Do I have blame for them? Absolutely. They do have a portion of the blame. But it isn't 100% Lippert. This is a majority problem with one manufacturer. And by the way, if it wasn't Grand Design, or if Grand Design handled it better than the allegations against them, we would not know what this really was. It would be something, hey, look out for this, not, holy crap, the entire industry's trash. Let's be real about that for just a minute. That's like coming out and saying every single car manufacturer is trash because Honda's motors blow up, because Honda's known for its reliability and all this stuff, but because the motors keep blowing up, every car in the industry is trash, even though they get the majority of their components from the same vendors. So let's be real about it for just a minute. Now, I'm not going to back down and say Lippert doesn't have any responsibility in this, but what I am saying is that their responsibility of it is different than what you guys are actively mad about. Yes, I'm pissed off at JD about the way it was handled, but he was put in a very bad situation. He wasn't put in a favorable position to be able to do what he did with the interview with Lippert. Okay? What I'm trying to accomplish by doing a factory tour and doing an interview with Lippert is trying to do it the right way, where it's prepared, professional, and educational for everybody and doesn't feel like a puff piece. Right? But see, I wouldn't reach out to these people if they were 100% guilty. I really didn't want to do the interview because if I end up doing this, I'm going to lose listeners. I'm going to lose viewers because a lot of you are going to look at me like, well, why didn't he go attack them? Well, why isn't he getting them to point the finger at somebody? Because that's not the goal. The goal is education. That's the goal. That's the goal of this podcast. That's the goal of the main channel. The goal is to educate people. Not to scream or mad about lag bolts. Not to scream and yell because you got screwed over because of an NDA. That's not what this is about. And no, I'm not talking crap. It's just that's what this is about. This is about educating you guys. This is about giving you proper information, not the fairy tale that, oh God, I don't even want to mention their names, but not the fairy tale that corporate RV dealership people want to paint for you, and not the Armageddon level crap that folks put out like Liz Amazing. Okay? Let's be 100% transparent. The RV industry is not as bad as people make it out to be, and it's not as great as the fairy tale people like to make it out to be. That's the truth. It's in between. There's a lot more good than there is bad. There's a lot more amazing than there is garbage. That's why I try to give you guys the great, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So please, let's focus in on what's important. And that is educating you guys so that way you guys can make good assessment decisions. And also, watch this. For those of you that are in deep trouble, for those of you with big concerns, with those of you that are having major problems, to find avenues and ways to help you. I keep trying to tell people all the time, the government is no help. We have to help ourselves. We, the people of the United States of America, make and form a more perfect union. There are great Facebook groups out there that have the right intention of helping people. Not clout, not trying to get big money in buyouts. Pete West runs a great Facebook page. Fabulous Facebook page. It's new, it's fresh, it's still finding its footing, but its intention is to help people with major problems with Grand Design products. Not just frame flex, not just frame failure, but everything. And I hope he can help Greg Carson out. Because overall, guys, I like Greg. I might have been upset with him, okay, but I like him. He's a nice guy. I do have the feeling, my gut feeling tells me, and it's not meant to be mean to say this, it's just how I feel. I feel like when you make your bed, lay in it. You've been warned, you had, all the evidence was pointing towards go buy another brand. Go do something else. Everything was pointing that way, and you made the decision, which is a bad decision, to believe a salesperson named Mel Williams. And by the way, Greg, thank you for pointing this gentleman out because I didn't know what his last name was, because all I get is communications from all kinds of people telling me that they feel, this is not a fact, this is not an opinion, this is how people feel. They all use a common word, slimy or slimeball. That's the description that customers give of Grand Design products. And we're not just talking about people on frame flex and frame failure. We're talking about people that have any kind of major problem where it's been escalated up to Mel. And they tell me he's like the biggest slime ball on God's green earth, or he's a really slimy person. Now that's a word or phrase. I don't know the man, so I can't give you my opinion. I don't know who he is. Probably never want to talk to the guy, especially after what I'm hearing from all walks of life people. These aren't just one type of people. These are people on every side of the political aisle. These are people from different backgrounds, military, engineers, welders, mechanics, teachers, business owners. These people who don't know each other more than likely are all sending me this communication basically calling this guy slimy or slimeball. And that's like reserved for used car guys, the old school Kurt Russell used car type of mentality. Or like good old Vin Diesel from Boiler Room, if you guys remember that, or Ben Affleck from Boiler Room. That's a slimy character. So very interesting. But here's the bottom line about all of this stuff, okay? And this is where I'm going to finish it, okay? The bottom line of all this is that I hope everybody learns a lesson from Greg Carson. He's a great guy. Non-disclosure agreements are very normal on buyouts, but what's in a non-disclosure agreement and what he agreed to is not normal. So I hope everybody understands that there's something missing. There's something going on, and if you decide you want to go buy another Grand Design product, or if you decide you want to still buy a Grand Design product, you are a part of the problem. Because the only way that there's going to be major changes at a corporation like that is if their pocketbook gets hit hard. If their market share gets hit hard. Only way it's going to happen. Because obviously at this point, there's no interest in doing anything but sweeping it under the rug like it doesn't exist. And look, guys, let me be very, very frank with you about something. And this is something that I feel is very deliberate, okay? If this was supposedly 100% a Lippert problem, then why is it that they know who I am at Lippert? Okay? I've been told. They know who I am. Why is it that their marketing team is considering having me there? They know my reputation. Why are they willing to work with me as long as it works out? I don't know if it'll ever work out. We're still probably a couple months away from doing anything. I don't know. But in the long run, why would they bring on the skeptic? Why would they do that if they had stuff to hide? Let's be real about that. You have one company that is allegedly trying to sweep everything under the rug, and then you have a vendor that seems very communicative. Okay? And the best evidence, beyond them getting back to me from their marketing team, beyond all that, let's go back to Liz Amazing's video about how Lippert sent her a cease and desist. Pause the video. Stop listening to her talk. Pause the video and read the actual communication she posted on there. And I'm appreciative of her doing that because it gives context. And you'll get a feel of what really was going on. You'll read between the lines. Not the advertising she's trying to make money on, because she's going to make a potload of money from that video. And if she's listening right now, I would give her a high five. You go, girl. You make that bag. You make that money. It's free money hanging out there that YouTube offers. You make that money. I'll sit here and give everybody the context, and we'll make it happen. Until next time, have a good one.